Hi guys, this is Kevin with Gardening Gays, and today we want to bring you an update on our deck. It's been about 2 months since we did our last video, and that was sometime in the middle of May. We'll link to that video down below this one so you can kind of see the progress. But we've had a lot of rain and some really great sunshine over the last couple of weeks, so everything is in full bloom, and we wanted to bring you out here to show you how our outdoor living space is looking at this point in time. Dragon is behind the camera, and we're going to start over here on our privacy wall with our morning glory. This was an experiment that we did this year for the first time, and probably not going to do it again next year. And we'll tell you why. These morning glory tend to be pretty needy when it comes to water. And you can just kind of see just how straggly they look at the bottom. We actually went through and just pulled out a lot of browning and dead leaves right before we started filming this. But also the thing that I'm not really a fan of is the fact that these blooms, you have to catch them in the morning. I mean, clearly by the name of it, morning glory, you're not getting the full effect of enjoying this pretty flower throughout the day. I will also pop up a picture for you. As you can see, I took a picture earlier this week and put it on our Instagram page so you can just see what they look like in the morning time when the blooms are out. They are gorgeous when they're open. They have this really beautiful white throat to them, and they kind of look like they illuminate in the sunshine, but this is probably going to be a no for us next year. Sorry, morning glories. So if Dragon comes on around, we'll start with the planters that we have lined along the railing. And at the back of each planter, we have sunflowers, and these are the teddy bear dwarf sunflowers. The interesting thing about these sunflowers is they all came from the same pack. At least that's what they said on the package, but you'll see that some of them are a little bit different. Like if you look at these, how much taller these are, definitely not a dwarf sunflower, kind of akin to some of the ones that we grew last year in our front yard, which ended up being 12 feet tall. And then you have the ones here that are still kind of miniature, but the petals look a lot different than they do on the ones that we actually consider the teddy bear. Oh, that's a really good one here. Got to get rid of this June bug. And this is the teddy bear variety here that we were hoping for. A majority of them actually did come out like this, so we're happy with that. We're going to try to let the ones that we love stay in the planters to dry up so we can try to collect the seeds and we can have those for next year so that we actually know we're getting exactly what we're looking for when it comes to those teddy bear dwarf sunflowers. That's at least one thing that we're really happy with, the way that they look, and we're happy with the height of those. So we're probably going to add them to a couple of different spots as we plan out and plan our planting for next year. So continuing on over here, in front of this planter, we have a Bright Lights light green sweet potato vine. And this one is different also this year than what we planted last year. Last year we did kind of the traditional sweetheart shape, and we wanted to go with this one because the leaves were a little different. I don't know, Dragon picked this one out. I'm not really sure that I'm a huge fan of it. I kind of think that I might prefer the sweetheart shape of that vine, which kind of comes down and trails into a point. These are all just kind of growing out a little bit bushy, but they still have a couple more months to go, so we'll see what it looks like at the end of the summer. Maybe I'll be a convert. I don't know. So of course, flanking on each corner, we have our Emperor 1 Japanese maples, and you'll see that there's a lot of kind of damage to some of our plants. This one you can really see kind of the skeletal effect that's in here. This is due to the green Japanese beetle that have really been tearing up a lot of our plants this year. They've been worse this year than they were the previous year, and we've reached out to a lot of you. If you have any ideas on how to manage that, let us know. We've tried lots of different things, but it seems like the number one way to get rid of them is picking them off of your plants while they're there. The problem that we have is that we live next door to a park area with a lot of grass that doesn't belong to us, so it's hard for us to be able to treat the lawn, which is what you really have to do in order to eliminate that problem. So it's just something we're unfortunately having to deal with, at least in the first couple of months as it gets hot. They're hopefully slowing down soon, and things will start to be able to green up and kind of flush back without all of those holes in them. Keep moving along in the planters. We have our petunias beneath the planters that are run along the side here. And beneath, first of all, the Japanese maples, we have Echinacea that's there. when we first put these in, we actually planted Echinacea in all 4 corners. Not every corner came back this year. We actually thought that we were having an issue and something had happened to them. And we found out that Trinity, our English Bull Terrier, was eating the Echinacea. Look at her. How can you be mad at that face? Look at the little baby. So we finally got her to stop eating the Echinacea, and they finally started growing. So we're happy about that. Before we leave this corner, we have a black calla lily that is here. We bought that already in bloom from the store. And as the blooms kind of fell off, it hasn't really done anything. It almost looks probably exactly the same as it did the day that we bought it, except for the fact that the blooms have fallen off. So, you know, again, just something that we bought. We also planted some from bulbs that are in the front of our house, and when we do our full garden tour later, you'll get a chance to see those. Down in this corner, before we move along, are 2 coleus. This is the electric lime coleus, and next to that is a Wasabi coleus, which we just purchased a couple of weeks ago, and it looks pretty good. You know, this is our first time having it. We've gone through doing some pinching on those, so we'll get those to kind of bush out, like you'll see some of the coleus next to it here as we move along. And we can also link to our coleus video showing you how to pinch and get your coleus to really get that nice wideness to them instead of just growing up in a singular tall stalk. Coming along in the center, these are our golden Emeril arbor vitae, 1 in each of the planters here, 1 on each side. And then down between them, we have another electric lime coleus. We have our Dusty Rusty, which is the king coleus this year. And then that purple velvet coleus with the white variegation around the ends. We still aren't sure about that. In our previous coleus video, we asked for some feedback. If you happen to know what that one is, to help us identify it, let us know. We're still interested in what you think. Right here in the center portion of the railing, again, we have that Bright Lights light green sweet potato vine with the teddy bear dwarf sunflowers behind it, and then petunias on either side of that. Coming on around in the corner, this is, forgot what it is. Let's see, the tag is underneath, so sometimes you have to keep a cheat sheet. Rustic Orange. Yeah, so this is a Rustic Orange coleus, also a new one that we bought this year. Looks similar kind of to some of the Dusty Rusties that we've had, and while Dragon is getting that, we'll come back over and show you what I mean. So this Dusty Rusty, you can see how red it is at the top, but the traditional Dusty Rusty actually looks like this on the inside. So this is what you get when it's in the shade, but with certain coleus, when you put them out into full sun, it tends to change their coloring a little bit. So this was one of those instances where that happened, but we really kind of love this, and first year that we've had a coleus that's been this big, and we're really, really pleased with that. So we'll come on back around in this corner, another Emperor 1 Japanese maple, and you can see that the beetles really, really did a number on this one over here. These leaves, because this is closer to the park, so this was an easier access point for them to get in at the foliage. The park is, Dragon showing you the park now. So again, not something that we really have control over. So all we've done is our best to salvage as much as we can during the couple of months while those are an issue. Down beneath that maple is another electric lime coleus, and then on the right of that is a coleus that we think might be either a campfire or a redhead coleus, kind of Inferno. So Inferno, campfire, if you look up one of those, that tends to be the coloring that you will get if you wanted to investigate that one a little more. More Echinacea in the bottom of that Japanese maple. And then as we move on to the planters back on the railing, sunflowers all along the back, petunias, and more sweet potato vine. Right here in the center, this planter is filled to the brim with marigolds. And then another experiment this year that we've unanimously agreed will not be back next year. And these are gazanias. So these gazanias, you can see they're really pretty when they're out in bloom, but these blooms only last about a day. And then the other issue with this, as we've kind of done more investigating and asking some gardening friends about them, is that they like to have well-drained soil so that they can stand up a little more, but this just kind of really isn't the flower for us that we were looking for. So we're probably going to say goodbye and retire that one once again next year. But that's what planting is all about. It's about that trial and error. It's about finding things that you like, things that look good, also too in your surrounding. And if it doesn't make you happy, then you don't have to deal with it. Anything else that I'm missing here? I think that's...
Trimming, we did the trimming.
Oh yeah.
Petunias.
So Dragon is mentioning trimming that we did a couple of weeks ago. The petunias had all kind of grown up. They were really, really bushy, probably about a third more than they are now, and they were starting to kind of hang over. So he came in and did a super heavy trim on them, and you can maybe see a little bit more here. If you just imagine that all of the blooms were gone and all you could see was the green. And it only took, what, probably 10 days maybe for them to come back. I was never a fan of severely chopping down a lot of plants, but as you can see, pinching down coleus, all of that stuff, it's really effective. And don't be afraid to get in there and cut certain things, because then you are encouraging that flower to reproduce even more blooms and put on a greater show. You can see what happened with these petunias. We came in and did that. There will likely be another opportunity to do it again before the summer is over. So just stay tuned. You know, maybe we'll bring you an end of summer deck tour and let you can see how that's been working too. Another thing we've kind of gone out and done a lot of is a lot of pulling all of the dead leaves off of the sunflowers as they've been coming through. But these sunflowers are just the gift that keep on giving. Dragon can get in here and show you. Here's a one that's pushing through here, and then kind of even right in here. This little tiny guy right here. So these were a really, really great purchase for us this year. Something that I said we're going to try again next year, and we're kind of letting the ones that we like the most and that have been the biggest producers continue to go out, and hopefully we'll be able to get to those seeds and harvest them before the birds come out and grab them. I think that's it for us for now. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, give us a like, leave a comment down below. And if you're not already, check out our Instagram page at gardeninggays, and we're also on Facebook too. So as you can see, another riveting video for Trinity. She's like, not this again. Hopefully you guys will come back again soon, and we'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.